Hello there. It's James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Johnny Test, Fred Flintstone, and one of my personal favorites, Leonardo. And you are listening to Epic Tales from the Sewer. It's totally awesome. Turtle power. Go, go, go.
Welcome to the Epic Tales from the Sewers podcast. Grab yourself a slice, strap into the party wagon, and hang on tight. Give it up for your hosts, the Cowabunga Combo, Justin and Eric.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles presents The Mighty Mutanimals, 3-issue miniseries, issue number 2. Script by Dean Clarrain, pencils by Ken Mitroni, cleanups by Marlene Becker, inks by Art Leonardi. Ryan Brown and Dean Clarrain present Under a Big Black Sun. We start out with what looks like a giant insect head asteroid in the sky, behind a giant black sun. In comes a spaceship. Out comes two of the bugs, one in a helmet, and the other one's already removed the helmet as they walk in towards a cave, orange rock inside. We see that they're headed towards Maligna, their mother. This is the ship that took out Cuddly the Cowlick.
Ah, my child, you have returned. Come to your mother. Come to Maligna.
We see Maligna there, greeting her children.
Share in the hive mind. Show me all you have done.
And so you can see that they're attacking Cuddly the Cowlick and they're zapping him with their spaceship.
Ah, the Cowlick. You have located the hated Cowlick, and you have struck it down. My child, my beautiful child, you have done well, so very well. Come and let your mother reward you with a kiss of love everlasting.
As she starts cackling, and you can see she gives him a kiss, and he just gets absolutely slobbered. He looks enamored, but he could also be dead. I'm not really sure what's going on. Now, we go to where Cuddly has landed. He's landed on the island with the Mighty Mutanimals. As we see Jaguar, Manray, and Dreadmond looking on at him, we see Cuddly, eyes open, smoking because he's been burned, being licked by a bunch of cows on this island.
Geez, what do you make of that? Says Manray.
Caramba, I'm not sure, Manray, but it seems almost familiar, says Jaguar. That's because it's beef, man. Big beef, says an excited Dreadmond.
Mellow out, Dreadmond. This isn't some hamburger. This is alive. Whatever it is.
See, and it's hurt, like it's been burnt. Look at how those cows lick the wounds like they're washing them.
All the different cows that surround him are indeed licking his wounds.
They are showing it such respect. Perhaps they think it's their god,
says Jaguar and Manray. Then suddenly Cuddly speaks.
Perhaps, but perhaps they are simply helping.
You can speak? Now I know why you seem familiar to me. Michelangelo told me of you, says Jaguar.
Come on, Dreadmond, get off of him.
Dreadmond's up on top of him.
Hey, man, I'm just seeing how badly hurt he is.
Yes, we are friends.
Hey, you have 5 seconds to move away from him, says
Wingnut.
Before we come down there and move you ourselves, says
Letherhead. As they look on, not giving them a chance, thinking that they're going to attack on Cuddly. Dreadmond responds as he gets pushed off of Cuddly by Wingnut.
Hey, that's not 5 seconds.
We never said we could count, tee-hee. Great logic, boss,
says Wingnut and Screwloose as they take him off.
You're a strong one,
says Letherhead as he crashes into Manray, who actually catches him.
Thank you. I owe it all to clean living.
Jaguar then attacks Wingnut. Quickly didn't see him come, and he's attacking Screwloose.
Oh, boss, here comes another flea bag.
Cuddly remarks,
Why must they always fight?
Ugh.
As Letherhead squeezes on Manray.
I was wondering,
Are you ticklish? So he tickles him with the tip of his tail. He starts laughing, then blasts him with an uppercut, knocking him far away. Sorry, pal.
Keep pelting his pelt, boss,
says Screwloose.
Will do, faithful Screwloose. Maybe after this we can give him a flea dip in the ocean.
They're throwing rocks and hitting him right in the top of the head. Caramba, you two are loco. And all of a sudden, a really fast Dreadmond streaks by him and grabs the bag of rocks that he was throwing. So he comments, and now, Flying Mons, a gift of swirling punches from Dreadmond to you, as he just keeps hitting him, similar to how the Flash would probably hit somebody with super speed.
Psst! Hey, boss, try tripping him.
Oh. Fight, 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 and no one has stopped to ask why,
says Cuddly.
No one has realized that they are on the same side. Oh well. Stop! Stop your fighting and look beyond towards the rainforest, towards your common enemy,
says Cuddly, with a very determined look on his eyes, now floating in the air above them.
Look at how Maligna's warrior children have defoliated the rainforest. Look at how now they're suspended in cocoons, metamorphosizing, growing, waiting to emerge.
So we could see that there are chrysalis pods hanging off of the trees where there used to be leaves and life, that they've all been devoured by Maligna's bugs. Forward now to Null.
To merge with the night, with the very stars, long has been my dream. To do so and profit from extending my business off-planet allows my dream to fit into my schemes. Thank you, Skull and Bean, for giving me wings,
as they say, flying away in their spaceship. We could see Skull, Bean, Null, and the kid.
Don't thank us, Null. Thank our queen. She is all. You just keep your end of the bargain by assisting us with your invasion of Earth.
Consider it done.
The kid looks on, not too pleased. He sees that while they're flying in the spaceship, there was a skateboard, Mondo skateboard, that kind of comes out.
Say, does this rig have a men's room?
Yes, in the rear.
I'll be back in a moment,
as he says, going to pick up his skateboard. A concerned-looking Mondo Gecko realizes that he lost it, and Raphael's there looking angry. The kid says, shh, and hands it to Mondo.
Ah, look, my brother, the hive world comes into view. It is good to see our home again. Soon we will see our queen, and then we will be given new orders, they say,
as the kid, silently in the back, conceals Raphael and Mondo Gecko.
Orders that will result in more conquest and growth for the hive.
As they come into the back of the hive ship that we saw previously, the kid looks back as they stay on the ship.
While we await word with your audience with our queen, come, let us show you our world,
as they depart the spaceship. Now popping out of the ship after everyone's left.
The coast is clear, but what have we gotten ourselves into? I'm feeling kind of like overwhelmed by the severity of the situation, dude. Yeah, well, I'm not crazy about it either, but I'm not going to lose faith in what we're doing. We will stop these freaky geeks. And stow your board and take one of my sides. Let's sneak around and see what we can turn to our advantage.
They look on at a guard that's behind them, looking the other way.
There's a guard station around the corner. I'll hit him high, you hit him low, on my word. Now!
As Mondo hits him low with his tail, as Raph hits him with a back fist, knocking him unconscious.
Awesome! One less evil weevil space face to worry about. Let's drag him into this room. Gross!
We can see that the room is full of what looks like body parts.
Exoskeleton body parts belonging to these insect dudes. And they've been picked clean, like something ate them. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, let's assume the worst, and let's just have to be that much more careful. But hey, I think I've finally come up with an idea for our plan.
As Raph looks over, holding up one of the exoskeleton heads of the bugs. We can see now, it looks like they've actually put them on to wear them as an outfit.
Take me to your leader, says Mondo. Seriously though, Raphael, it feels kind of eerie, kind of creepy to be wearing someone else's skin. I hear you, Mondo, but hopefully these will provide good enough disguise for us to walk around undetected. Now, don't forget to tuck in your tail. This place is huge. It's like honeycombed like a big beehive. But beehives are supposed to be busy. This place is like a giant crypt. Shh, I hear someone coming.
As they look on, they can see that there's about 4 guards that walk by. One of the guards turns their head and goes, Raph says,
Uh-oh. So much for walking around undetected.
As they try to take out the guard, Mondo, now with one of the sais, tries to hit him over the head with it.
These things are smarter than they look, which isn't saying much.
Mondo does indeed hit him over the head with the back of the sai.
I'm bugging ya? I don't mean to bug ya.
As they take out all 4 of them, Raph inadvertently took out 3, while Mondo took out the 1.
One down.
As Raph hits him in the midsection with the back of his sai with a
crack. None to go.
And then finishes him up with a haymaker punch to the side of the face. Then putting them all into the next room.
Let's hide these dudes in the room behind us.
Sure thing. But given all the noise we've just made, it's a wonder no one heard us. As they back him up, not even looking behind them to see Maligna at the back. Back to the island.
No, I don't think they can hear us. Even if they could, I doubt they could emerge until physically woken by their biological clocks, says Manray. So what can be done, Manray?
I say we burn them before they emerge,
says Wingnut. Looking on, Cuddly's not sure of what to make of all this. Looks like he's thinking.
But man, that would be murder, says Dreadmond.
Listen, Furball, we have a chance these Malignoids would do the same to you. I say we fight fire with fire and we burn them,
says Screwloose.
But that wouldn't necessarily make it right, little Skeeter. It would be the same as killing someone in their sleep. And what honor is there in that,
says Letherhead.
Honor? What honor is there in risking the life of a planet? Or all the life upon it? This isn't about honor. This is about survival. Whatever. If we defeat him now or we defeat him later, it's the same thing, says Screwloose. Catch you later,
says Wingnut as Wingnut blasts up into the sky. The sun sets. Looks like they're gathering firewood and making food. Seems like Dreadmond has a basket of papayas bringing for them. And they've created the fire.
Sometimes I think I could stare into a fire forever.
Hey, Jaguar man, pass me some of that blue fruit.
Si, amigo. It is called jangala fruit. It is from the most ancient of rainforest trees.
You know much about the rainforest, friend. What brought you here?
Asked Letherhead. Mi madre. This is where I was born here. I have never lived anywhere else, and I have never been anywhere else, except through my dreams. Let me tell you a story, compadres. As we see in the fire, looks like there's a stone skull of a jaguar on top of a pyramid. The story of my heritage and what was once. Mi madre was not like most people. She was very, bored and uninterested in everyday life. She wanted something more. She wanted to become a person of knowledge. And so she set upon the path of the 4 winds. The first path was to the south, to the serpent, where one sheds one's past, just as a snake sheds their skin. We see a woman who has brown hair, and she's wearing what looks like a jaguar print outfit, a top and a bottom, and she's got a very sharp knife with her. The second path led her to the west, to the jaguar, where one goes to face their fear of death. Mi madre sought out the jaguar spirit without hesitation, without fear. We see that same pyramid with the jaguar skull on top, as she's sitting in lotus position, legs crossed, and her spirit touches that of the spirit of the jaguar emerging from the skull. Never before had the jaguar spirit encountered a human spirit so strong as Mi madre's. They met as equals, and their spirits came to know love, and through that love came I. We see her now holding the baby jaguar, absolutely adorable, swaddled in some blankets. She's quite pleased.
What happened to your mother?
Says Manray. In my 12th year, she left to continue the path of the 4 winds. To the north, towards the dragon, and to the wisdom of the ancients, and on towards the east of the eagle and the sun. She has never returned. Not yet, anyway, but perhaps the dragon path is a long one, see? Mi padre, he was gone to the heart of the rainforest to help it survive. Sometimes, late at night, I swear I can hear his cries of anger.
Hey, he sounds like my old man, too. He fights for their homeland. He fights to free our people of South Africa apartheid. The system of radical segregation and white supremacy that legally separates whites from non-whites.
We can see that it looks like a man in a red shirt with a whole village of people, and this is emerging in the fire, too.
My father was very political, very outspoken against apartheid, perhaps too outspoken. But when the police burned down our house for the third time, my father arranged for our family to be sent to Jamaica, to await the day when apartheid be brought to an end. My father stayed to fight.
We could see a man with dark brown skin, white hair, and an earring, holding a torch.
But Jamaica not to be kind to us, man. We had our freedom, but poverty also be free, man. I came to despise the wealthy tourist who visited the island.
Looks like Dreadmond sitting there, kind of a young man with some black hair, brown skin, wearing a pink shirt. And he's looking on with scorn at the tourists.
So I stole from them. One night I stole a totem from a rich Australian sheep rancher. The totem be the image of a Tasmanian wolf. All the time I daydream that totem that give me the speed and cunning of the wolf. And soon, it seems though as thought it did. Soon, I be the richest young thief on the island.
Looks like his speed was greatly increased.
But on the first full moon of my puberty, I changed. And Jah would have it, the totem in turn was stolen from me. Jamaicans, they not much care for Wolfman eating their chickens.
We could see him actually hanging out in a graveyard. Looks like there's some waking dead zombies as he sits on a grave and there's snakes going after him.
When some people begin to use bad voodoo against me, I caught a ride here to the Amazon.
See him sitting on a boat. It looks like he's eating the bananas in the cargo hold.
Voodoo, bad voodoo, ma. Okay, look, Wingnut and Screwloose.
We see that they're coming with a battalion of bats.
Good thing someone's paying attention round here, 'cause the Malignoids had hatched,
as he says, waking everybody to arms.
and they're in a fighting mood.
Then I guess this is it. It's either we do or die.
As they all prepare to fight the Malignoids. Back on the ship, we see Maligna lurking behind the two.
Wow, this room is huge compared to the others we've seen. Maybe it belongs to someone important. Maybe it belongs to someone more important and even uglier than the rest.
As Maligna takes two of her arms and grabs them.
Perhaps we just have different concepts of beauty.
You were right. Wrong. Face it, you're ugly.
As Raph swings his head back into Maligna's face, cracking one of her mandibles.
Ow! Why, you rotten piece of meat! How dare you strike me! How dare you!
As she casts them both aside and then reaches out with one of her swift hands and grabs Raphael by his bandana, pulling him back.
Hey, what are you trying to do to my neck? Hey!
As she's trying to get close, looks like she's trying to bite him. Mondo then goes and grabs onto her antennas on top.
Say, dude, maybe this'll give you better reception.
And then Raph, with both edges of his side, cracks her on the side with a
Hi!
Swiftly, she reaches out with one of her top arms, which has, looks like Venus flytrap's arms on it, snapping him in the arm.
Hi, don't you mean goodbye?
Ow! Raphael!
Ha 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 ha!
Ah! Get it off! Get it off!
As she then grabs onto one of his other sides that he dropped. Now, holding him up, it looks like he's almost passed out from pain. She backhands Mondo Gecko with an open hand and just smacks him aside, knocking him unconscious.
My queen, we heard the noise. Are you? I am fine. Take these two green meats to the cell and begin fattening 'em up, for soon we shall feast in celebration. The earth is nearly ours.
And that's the end of the issue. Next, Ride of the Ruthless.
Hi, this is Adam, a.k.a. Casey Jones from Casey Jones Livewire, and you're listening to Epic Tales from the Sewers. Time for a knuckle sandwich, punk.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles present The Mighty Mutanimals Mini Series, issue number 3. Script by Dean Clarraine. Pencils by Ken Mitroni. Inks by Mike Kazela and Brian Thomas. We start out with some exposition. High orbit above Earth. We see this is the last scene where Maligna has taken out Mondo Gecko and is holding Raphael by his arm.
Take these two green meats to the cell and begin fattening them up, for soon we shall feast in celebration. The earth is nearly ours.
We see it says, Ride of the Ruthless. Deep within the rainforests of Earth.
The Malignoids have hatched, and they're in a fighting mood,
says Wingnut.
Then I guess it's either do or die.
as Manray says, and then he goes towards the Malignans.
Either that or fry,
says Screwloose. Yeah, I suppose the sun is rather hot.
That's not what I mean, Fish Chip. I mean, we don't stop this Malignoid invasion, the planet will heat up so fast it'll make the current greenhouse effect seem like air conditioning in comparison. Way to go, boss. Tee-hee,
explains Screwloose as Wingnut knocks two of the Malignoids' heads together.
What are you saying, man? Says Dreadmond.
These Malignoids don't take over a planet by usual means of force or subversion. What they do is much more final. They create rapid, out-of-control greenhouse effect by eating the planet's rainforests and converting them directly to gas. To carbon dioxide and chlorofluorocarbons,
explains Screwloose as he hits another one in the head with a rock.
The increased carbon dioxide heats up the planet, while the chlorofluorocarbons destroy its atmospheric ozone. And without ozone, deadly ultraviolet radiation reaches the planet's surface, killing its plankton and crops.
But those are basic units of the marine and terrestrial food chain, says Manray. That means there'd be no food. And with no food, there's no life. Earth would become a dead planet. We have to save the planet.
To Big Shot now of Earth, back on the mothership.
Come on, wake up. Come on, Raphael, wake up. You're not going to believe what they're doing to us.
As we can see, it looks like they're being basted with honey. Raph opens his eyes.
All right, dude, open those eyes. Gecko, what's going on? Well, you've been copping Z's. These creatures have been force-feeding me honey. Not only that, but we're being honey-dipped as well. Honey-dipped? Like donuts? But I hate honey-dipped.
Really, I'm rather fond of honey-dipped myself. We like honey. Honey is sweet and sticky, says Skull. Yes, brother, honey turns the most bitter flesh sweet, says Bean.
The kid looks on with Null.
I hate to think of what they must eat for dessert, says Mondo. Bummer.
Dessert is a delicacy for which my chefs are most famous in the universe over. Marinated eyeballs in spleen sauce.
Bogus. Gross.
Ha 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 ha,
as Maligna laughs.
But all this talk of food is making me hungry. I wish to consume Earth. My first wave of warrior children has worked within the planet's rainforest in preparation for our coming. Let us hurry to join them, for the moment of Earthfall is at hand.
Back to the rainforest. Letherhead now dogpiled by 3 of the Malignoids.
Someone give me a hand.
Chill, man, I be coming.
Dreadmond knocks them off him.
Thanks. You're a fast dog boy. Have you ever thought of promoting a line of running shoes?
We see Jaguar at the top of a tree branch.
Treeing me is one thing, but defeating me is quite another, insectos estupidos.
As he jumps down on a pile of 5 of them. Back to Screwloose and Wingnut.
Gee, boss, I haven't had this much fun since we smashed all those skylights back in the city of plankton chips. True, faithful Screwloose, there's nothing quite like the tinkle of glass breaking in the twilight.
I bet. Say, we're finally starting to put a dent in the number of these things, says Manray.
As we can see the ship now coming into focus.
Oof, guess I spoke too soon,
as 2 of them attack him.
You're doing fine, Manray. You keep knocking them out, and I'll keep taking them out to a safe spot in Dimension X,
says Cuddly as he scoops them up in his mouth.
Pick up some lunch while you're out, man,
says Dreadmond. Jaguar looks on as 2 of them are attacking him. They're running towards him at full speed. He says,
Now, amigos.
As Wingnut grabs him, pulling him out of the fray so they both slam into each other.
For a furball, you're not half bad.
Gracias, I think. Have you ever considered taking up intergalactic wrestling?
Says Letherhead.
Wrestling? No. Too many rules and regulations for me. I'd like direct action. I'd rather just fight to win,
says Manray, conversing with Letherhead.
You said that right. It's not how you play the game. It's whether you win or lose.
A distracted Wingnut says, as a Malignoid runs toward him, and then Screwloose bashes it over the head with a wooden club.
Tee-hee!
Now running towards each other and slamming the heads together, we've got Jaguar and Dreadmond.
Well, little flying man, I say we be winning.
See, in fact, I'd say we've won. Letherhead gives a gasp of relief as they see the Malignoids all heaped up on a pile. All of a sudden, a very concerned look from Manray.
Eh?
As the ship pulls up right above them.
the giant Maligna head ship.
Santa Sangre.
Uh-oh. Maligna, now looking down, says,
And now to taste this ripe young Wait, my children, they have all been defeated.
Looks like she's getting a psychic scene from them.
And the hated cowlick is taking their unconscious forms back to Dimension X. While so many more of my children have not hatched at all. I am not pleased. I am not pleased at all. Through the power of my hive mind, let the world go out.
We see a whole bunch of ships lined up with Malignoids in them.
And let the attack begin!
As they all take off in these white ships with red sort of glass on them. They look like they have mandibles.
How on earth are we going to stop this? I don't think we be given the chance, Manray, for they be flying past us.
All of a sudden, Skull and Bean come down and knock Dreadmond unconscious on the side with an oof.
The Queen's warrior children may indeed be flying past you, mutt-meat, but we are flying at you. We do not like the stinky beastie boys, not unless we are wormed and ground into chow first.
Ugh, we'll see about that.
As Letherhead grabs onto Skull. Manray pounds Bean right in the face.
Has anyone ever told you that you have a hole in your head?
Yes, you stinky fishman.
Skull takes Letherhead by the tail and throws him on the ground with a slam, while Jaguar jumps on top of Bean's head and starts scratching his face.
Sounds like your brains have leaked into your hole, Villano.
No, but yours will soon be enough, stinky cat.
Man, those exoskeletons of theirs make them a couple tough nuts to crack,
says Manray.
Yes, but we should be doing better. There's only 2 of them.
As we can see, the ships are now attacking the human civilizations and blasting them. Back to the ship where we can see them being basted.
Come on, Gecko. There's only 2 of them. Let's see if we can take them out.
Sure, dude. Have you tried moving lately? I can't seem to move much at all. I bet you there's some kind of chemical in this honey that causes paralysis or something.
Then I guess they plan on eating us alive. Help!
All of a sudden, Kid shows up with a bang, bang, bang. Takes out the 2 Malignoid guards.
Sure wish I had packed my silencers,
says the Kid, blowing the smoke off.
You can thank me later.
As he gives us a cloth to wash off the honey.
Here, use these bandanas to wipe that honey off. Why the sudden move to free us, says Raph. The Queen Witch is occupied directing her attack at Earth, and I can't figure out where Null went off to, so I figure it was a good time to see you 2. I just hope we're not too late to stop something.
You see now a suburban town gets attacked by these aliens. There's jets out to stop it, but they don't seem to be enough to stop the Malignoids. As panicked humans are running around. Cuddly now going towards Maligna's ship.
There must be something we can do. This has to be some sort of weak spot that we can exploit. But what?
Back to the action on the ground.
My brother, I think it is time for us to drop another bomb, says Skull to Bean. Then I shall.
Oh, no, you don't, you big stinker. Stay on target, tee-hee.
As Wingnut and Screwloose fly by swiftly, throwing a rock, exactly the right size into Bean's head. It causes an internal implosion, where his eye kind of bugs out and he falls down to the ground.
Bean, my brother, so help me, soft ones, if my brother is dead, I'll rock this planet to its very foundations.
More ships continue to attack, now at a mall, causing more devastation. Maligna, using her psychic powers to control the hive mind.
Attack, my children, attack!
Now, Raphael, Mondo Gecko, and the Kid attack Maligna. The Kid has a drop on her with his 2 6-shooters.
The gig's over, Witch. Reach for the sky. Reach.
Perhaps I shall reach for your blood-filled heart instead,
as she says, with her giant Venus flytrap arms from the top coming towards him.
Stop and reach, Witch, or I'll drop you where you stand.
Pew!
With a shot, he takes off one of her top antennas.
My antenna! You shot off my antenna! Without my antenna, there is no hive mind. My children will be lost.
Good. Now call off your invasion before the cowboy here plugs you full of mole holes, then McRonald's has buns. Call off the invasion now, or no more hive mind. Yeah, you wicked witch.
Yes, just do not destroy the hive mind.
Now, Maligna reaches out.
My children, listen to your mother. Come home. Cease your wonderful attacks and come home to your hive world. Your mother needs you.
We see them leaving the Washington Monument after blasting it.
My brother, are you all right?
I'd say he's in better shape than you.
As Skull goes to check on Bean. Letherhead drops the Macho Man Randy Savage elbow on him, knocking him unconscious.
Look, amigos, the Malignoids return.
All the ships go back into the mouth of the mothership.
We must prepare to fight anew.
Chill, dude.
Yeah, Jaguar, I'd say this battle is just about over.
As they materialize out of a transportation, with the kid with a gun pointed directly at Maligna's head, Raphael and Mondo Gecko.
Ain't that right, Queenie?
I admit defeat. We shall leave this world you call Earth.
Maligna now takes off with Skull and Bean.
I feel stinky,
says Bean. Cuddly the Cowlick looks on with skepticism as all the ships return to the mothership. And then the mothership takes off from Earth.
Yes, we shall leave, but we shall return when least expected,
says Maligna with Skull and Bean behind her. Now, back to everybody. We have Manray confronting the kid.
You're the one who killed my friend Bubble the Glublub.
I know, I didn't mean to do it. Please forgive me, as he takes off his hat, showing some remorse. Manray's not happy. He crosses his arms, looking into the forest.
Huh?
So we can see eyes looking back at him. All of a sudden they emerge. It's the cows from before.
Ah, the little ones have returned.
We see a pair of eyes, another pair of eyes that we weren't expecting. He snuck up to the fire, lights his cigar. It's Null, who escaped Maligna's ship, and he's back. He wanders into the forest, not to be seen for the rest of this. And then we see some familiar camera sights that have wings on them. And then all of a sudden, everybody is by the fire, laughing about their victory, as the cows start licking the honey off of Mondo and Raphael. You got that right, as everybody laughs.
The battle for Earth has been brought to you exclusively by Stump Transdimensional Corporation. Stay tuned for tonight's intergalactic wrestling live from Stump Arena. All right, our partner, we pulled it off. Woo!
Stump Network presents The End. As the spokesmodel says, Cowabunga! And that's the end of issue 3 of the Mighty Mutanimals. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, issue number 21. We start off in space. You can see a U.S. satellite. The Soviet Union launched the world's first artificial satellite in 1957. It was named Sputnik, and its highest orbit it reached was 585 miles above the Earth. Today, high orbiters like this United States spy satellite commonly spin 22,300 miles up, pulling off VHF, UHF, telephone, and microwave signals. Some are so sensitive that they can be picked up by walkie-talkie exchanges between rescue workers during this Chernobyl disaster. Yet, as technologically sophisticated as they are, satellites don't stay in orbit forever. Every now and then, one plummets back to Earth. Like this one. Looks like the US one was hit by a Soviet satellite. And there's all kinds of pieces that are headed down towards Earth, and they've combined to make one super satellite. Like this one, which in its descent collides with radioactive canister floating on the world's sole nuclear waste space dump. The collision fuses the canister with satellite, and together they plunge towards Earth. Looks like towards a log cabin. There's a man who just happens to be watching television. Yet government scientists continue to remain uncertain as to where or when the satellite may fall. Also today, a report was included disclosing that the new ozone hole over the North Pole is extended southward.
That does it. That really does it. I can't take any more.
And he picks up his television to throw it outside, kicks open the door.
I can't take hearing about what we've done to the world. This stinks. This really burns my...
As he throws his TV into the garbage can, he looks up as a big ray of light that seems to hit him. It's the pieces of the satellite with radioactive waste have fused him with the television. We see the title card, Space Junk, Face Spunk, Cyberpunk, Thief. Screenplay by Dean Clarane. Camera by Byron Vaughns. Lighting and sound by Gary Fields. This man has mutated into some sort of cyborg, half TV, half man. He's got an antenna on his head, one of his eyes is a radio dish, and he's got a giant television screen. He's also wearing a cape. What goes around comes around, comes out of his chest, as he shows what looks like a skull and crossbones. What goes around, and then he turns into a ball of fire and flies off. Now, back to the city. Whew, Close, dude, but no cigar. Yeah, well, how's this? Whack. Ouch. Real sneaky, dude. Now try choking on this. Eat cold feet. We see now the turtles who have been practicing over the sewer water. Leo, you're right. Sparring is fun, as Mikey knocks Leo almost into the water. No comment, says Leo. Then Donnie gets in on the action with a hi, and he swipes underneath Michelangelo, who jumps just above it, and then catches his bow with his nunchucks. Hi yourself. Hey, you learned that move from Raphael. Raphael? Gee, I wonder how he's doing. I still wish he and Gecko hadn't stowed away on board that spaceship. Yeah, well, at least he's somewhere fighting off an alien invasion, while we're just hanging around waiting for April and Master Splinter to get back from the newsroom, says Mikey. Too true. And who knows, maybe Raph is succeeding. I mean, we haven't heard a thing about it since any sort of invasion going on. Yeah, well, I just hope Raphael's okay, says Leonardo. Strange. I seem unable to make even a glimmer of psychic contact with Raphael, Master Splinter says, looking pensively out the window of the Channel 6 newsroom. I wonder if... No, perhaps he is off planet again. I shouldn't worry. He's as resourceful as he is temperamental. And besides, there are other matters at hand. He thinks to himself. Now speaking to April. April, the sun brings forth a new day. I think it is time to leave. I just need another minute or two, Master Splinter, and then I'll be through. Ah, that sound. Malcolm! April! April O'Neil! You're back! Alive! After you were kidnapped while researching the Chico Mendez story? We thought, well, I didn't know what to think. As he busts in, he gives her a hug. Well, I'm fine now, but I did have quite an adventure. In fact, I was just working it into a story. Say, you wouldn't know any strange goings-on here in the sky or nearby in space, would you? Let's see, well, that spy satellite finally fell to Earth. It almost creamed an empty cabin. But there's been more bad news about the ozone layer. That's about it currently, related to your story. Is this related to your story? Sort of, but it's neither ozone nor satellites that I'm researching. Well, hey, don't let me stand in the way of news. It's really great knowing that you're all right. Thanks, Malcolm. I'll talk to you soon. Splinter, who ducked behind one of the cubicles. Till then, April. I do think it's time to leave, he says. I know. I just have to save what I've written, she says. Then all of a sudden a face appears on the computer screen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. What the? But there's something I've got to tell you about, as he reaches through to pull her into the computer screen. Hey, let go! April! The Splinter says. As he tries to attack the screen, he gets blasted back with a bolt of lightning. Now, into the sewers, he's explaining what happened to the turtles. That's it. Nothing more. I managed to escape before anyone arrived to investigate. Donatello, I'm hoping that your understanding of technology can provide us with some answers as to what transpired, or at least yield some clues or show a path to follow. I don't know, Master. It sounds like more magic than technology, says Donatello. We may have been home for the better part of an hour now, Donatello. Surely you've made some progress. Yeah, dude, says Leo. I'm doing the best I can, Master. It's not easy breaking into the newsroom's computer systems. Some of these safeguards would give Einstein trouble, they say, looking on. Wait, I'm in! Excellent! Now when we see April closed her file, and then cross-reference that time in the list of incoming and outgoing calls... Good going, bro! Cool. Or power surges. Or intruders. Like that one there. Got it. Now if I can only trace it, they say, looking intently at the computer screen. Back to its source. Why me? I don't get it, says April. Because you're a reporter. One who happens to be more sensitive than most. I need you to tape my story. I need you to show the world why I'm doing what I'm about to do. And that is, April says, interviewing this strange character. She's got a camera fixated on him. Total disruption of the world's communication systems. Of everything from telephones to radios, computers, military satellites, music, television, everything. But why? Why? Get that camcorder going and I'll show you why. This is why. The state of the world. He shows someone with an empty bowl. Looks like their hunger. Disease. Clouds. Dark storm clouds. I want everyone everywhere to pause and think about what's going down. To really think about it, and maybe Maybe if we're forced to think about it all at the same time together, then we'll do something about it. As he shows her all this on his chest screen. Before I do something else that will force the world leaders to take responsibility for their state of things. We can see tanks in the desert. What goes around, comes around. Again, says the screen on his chest, as he's got those skull and crossbones. Something else like what? She says. Like taking the nuclear waste within my body and releasing it into the world's oil fields, irradiating them, contaminating them so badly the oil production would have to cease. And without oil, the world would come to a grinding halt. But we depend on oil. We need it to heat our homes and hospitals. People will suffer without it. I mean, I know what you're saying, but you're going about it is just too extreme. It's mad. Mad? That's because I'm mad as heck and I'm not gonna take it anymore. And with that, in from the window busts Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Master Splinter with a crash. They come in through the window. Yeah, well, neither are we, says Leonardo. Excellent, says April. As they figured out the source of the signal, they've traced her back, and now they're here to save her.
April, are you all right?
I'm fine, Master Splinter, but how did you find me? Donatello, the technological brain, somehow traced the electromagnetic pulse that you and your buddy rode on here. The cyborg says, very clever, but do you think you're smart enough to avoid this? Bzzz, they blast him with some lightning. I didn't think so. Ouch! Leonardo blasts the signal, which was an I-beam from his satellite dish eyeball, and he blocks it with his katana blade. That's enough out of you, Chrome Dome. And you better hope my brothers aren't hurt. No, they're not hurt. Not as hurt as you're gonna be. As two double fists pound on him as they emerge from the chest TV that he has. Then, when it looks like they're making quick work, as he sits back in repose, Master Splinter comes with a jump kick right to his head, knocking him. Now, let's bring this fight to an end. Yes, let's, he says, putting his hand up onto another computer. For once and all, blasts him with a laser blast from his chest television. Master! Now, the turtles, incensed, just go to attack him all at once. So help me, if you've harmed so much as one strand of fur on the Master's body, I'll rewrite you into a toaster oven. They all hit him at the same time. He's overwhelmed. Blast the next computer. No thanks. Maybe some other time. Oh, no, you don't. He escapes into the computer monitor. Donatello coming right behind him. April warns, Donnie, don't! Darn, but it was too late. April says, I sure hope that he knows what he's getting into. Oh boy, what have I gotten myself into? Donatello now looks like he's in cyberspace. There's all sorts of dots all around, looks like data. This must be inside of the computer. And these pulses must be bytes. And the sequence is bytes, spelled differently. Then I guess I'm in a file. That's right, the name of this particular file is called Vicious, as he comes in on one of those dots and hits Donatello on the back of the head, which is short for Vid Viscious. That's my name. Vid Viscious. And setting this messed up world straight, that's my game. We see on his chest, Kenneth, what's the frequency? Fat chance, metalhead. Donatello, who has his bow staff, smacks him. The turtles and April look on. They're not sure exactly what's going on. Gosh, I hope he's all right. How are we gonna get him out of there? Says Michelangelo. All of a sudden, a helmeted figure from behind the window says, Oh, I wouldn't worry about him. I'd worry about yourselves, fool. Master Splinter says, Shredder! The geek? Shredder emerges from the window that they all busted through, with 4 of those superpower foot androids. Out of my way, reptile! Michelangelo is the first one to attack, and he gets kneed right in the face by Shredder, who's going directly for Master Splinter. Leonardo takes out one of the androids with a slice, taking off its head. This ought to cure your headache, dude. And this ought to give you one. Is now, dropping his swords, bear hugs the other one and hits him right in the head with a headbutt. Quickly, somebody get the Shredder away from that computer. As Shredder goes, looks like he's trying to meet with Vid Viscious. Donatello now says, Hey, I kind of feel strange. Me too. Me three, says the skull and crossbones in his chest. This isn't your doing, is it? I was hoping it was yours, they said. Looks like they're kind of back to back now. Shredder seems to be programming them from outside on the computer. Ha 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 ha. April looks on and says, Uh-oh.
as Michelangelo takes out one of the other foot soldier androids.
And so, with the file copied onto this disk, I can now destroy the original.
Shredder then kicks into the computer, smashing it.
Oh my gosh, Donatello! Donatello, Miss O'Neil, is right here. Don't worry.
As he holds on to an old floppy disk.
He'll be safe with me. Stop!
As he goes out the window, escaping now with Donatello and Vid Viscious on his dish. He escapes as the turtles take out the last two of the androids, and then Shredder's gone. Michelangelo screams, Donatello! Next issue, Blades of Doom. TMNT Adventures, number 22. We start off with a recap of the story.
So, dudes, it's down to the 4 of us now,
says Michelangelo, looking with April, Leonardo, and Master Splinter. The 4 of us, just the 4 of us, Mike, Leo, Master Splinter, and myself, says April. As we show a flashback to Raphael taking on Bean and the kid.
And now to kick some serious shell.
We lost Raphael at the tail end of our battle with Null, Skull, Bean, and that cowboy, when Raphael and Mondo Gecko hid themselves aboard the villain's spaceship before it blasted away. To points unknown, we show a flashback of them stowed away on the ship as it blasts through the top of Null Corp. Soon after, the rest of us sought to lose ourselves in the bristling streets of New York's Chinatown. Instead, we found ourselves going against a giant berserker's foot soldier whose destructive path was finally cut short by the protective might of the warrior dragon. We see a flashback to the warrior dragon taking out the giant foot soldier. Days later, as I was writing my news report on Null and his deal to sell the world to the alien race, I was kidnapped by Vid Viscious, a guy with a definite attitude.
That's because I'm mad as heck and I'm not gonna take it anymore,
says Vid Viscious, as the turtles all attack him. Yeah, well, neither are we, says Leo. Needless to say, I was soon rescued by Master Splinter and the turtles. Don leapt after Vid Viscious as he sought to escape through a computer, and Don was quickly sucked into that computer with him. Moments later, the Shredder burst in.
Out of my way, reptile!
Geek! Knocks down Michelangelo. That's when we lost Donatello.
And so, with the file copied onto this disk, I can now destroy the original.
As again he kicks the computer. Oh my gosh, Donatello!
Donatello, Miss O'Neil, is right here on this disk. Don't worry, he'll be safe with me,
says the Shredder, leaping out of the open window, escaping with the disk that contained Vid Viscious and Donatello. Now, at the end, we can see the title card. It's called Rat Trap. Script by Dean Clarrain. Art by Gene Conlon. Letters by Gary Fields. We can see the Shredder, who leapt out the window, was being rescued by a helicopter as he escapes on a rope ladder. As Michelangelo screams, Donatello! The Shredder, now victorious, runs away going, ha 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 ha. Nuts.
Nuts indeed.
What do we do now, Master?
First we must calm ourselves, that we may remain lucid, and then we must search for clues, for something that will set us upon a path. Think with the whole body. Let nothing escape our notice.
As they check around, looking for any sort of clues that they can in this newsroom. April looks under a computer. Michelangelo, frustrated, kicks a phone.
Nothing. There's nothing, Master. Nada. No clues, no nothing. There's only these hunks and chunks of foot soldier robots. Robots? Sometimes the most obvious is too plain to see, Michelangelo. In case the robots themselves may not be the clue, may be the clue for this. It's not the only place where we have met them, the foot soldiers of late, is it not?
Good point. Yeah, we fought that giant foot soldier just a few days ago, and then that means we might find further clues over in Chinatown. That's the building that housed the giant foot soldier, completely untouched by the fire that burned down the rest of the block.
Remarkable.
So, you suppose it was the fire that activated the robot?
Possibly, but you gotta wonder whether or not the Shredder himself activated it on purpose.
You mean in order to draw you guys out into the open? Says April. Yeah, once he sees us, he can follow us. That would explain how he was able to ambush us. Then this could be a trap, says April. Could be, says Leo, swords drawn. Could very well be. Check it out. We see a matchbook that says Acme Traps. If I were more any paranoid, I'd say we were being set up.
Indeed, the book of matches appears to be placed for us to find. The Shredder is most clever. He knows that we will seek out the location of Acme Traps, just as we know it will likely to be a trap.
So what are we going to do?
Says Michelangelo.
What else can we do? We must save Donatello, But first, we must prepare. First, we must return home. As they look, making sure that they're not being followed now through the sewers. Now, a building that says Acme Traps. It looks like it has a mouse trap up on the top of its billboard. We hear some laughter from the Shredder.
Ha 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 ha! The trap is nearly sprung. Soon they shall arrive, and soon my vengeance shall be complete. I have but one final stone to lay, withdrawing Donatello from this computer disk. Foot soldiers, stand at the ready. I'm about to open this file. Now, rah! Out comes Vid Viscious. What goes around comes around. Thanks, pal. Thanks a lot,
as he blasts off with a burst of energy. Yeah, Shredhead, thanks a lot, as Donatello baps him in the head with his bow staff. I don't know why you're here, or how you escaped from prison, or where exactly we are, but you can bet your last bottle of chrome polish that I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Now hitting him in the midsection.
Fool! You're here because I want you to be here, and the only bottom that you're getting to is the bottom of my foot.
Shredder hits him in the clavicle with a karate chop swipe, and then kicks him, knocking the bow staff out of his hand.
Take him, my foot soldiers. Take him to the abandoned spot and bind him, that he may be bait.
They take an incapacitated Donatello back. This reminds us just how powerful the Shredder is one-on-one against the Turtles.
That he may be the bait at the center of the trap.
Now, getting ready to come from the sewers, we see the Turtles, Master Splinter, and April preparing.
Are you ready, my sons?
My katanas have been sharpened to a razor's edge, Master.
And I've packed more shuriken than a toad has warts. Something like that. Huh. Good. April, are you ready?
Ready enough, she says, as we can see that she's got a katana blade of her own.
Then let's roll,
says Michelangelo. As they come up outside in the alley, we can see their shadows coming up closer to Acme Traps. Just like it was listed in the Yellow Pages. Keep to the shadows. This is too easy.
Indeed, for such a nature of traps.
The door was unlocked?
Like I said, such is the nature of traps.
Donatello, says April. See Donatello hanging from the ceiling over what looks like a maze.
At least he's no longer trapped in that computer disk, says Michelangelo.
He's positioned at the dead center of the warehouse, says Leonardo. Any ideas how we could reach him? Says April. Donnie starts kicking as they look onto the walls.
These walls are slick and wet. They've been greased to keep us from climbing up them.
Then we have no choice, says Leonardo. We have to enter one of these doorways. Looks like there's 3 doorways leading into a maze.
Shredder obviously watched one too many game shows.
Maybe so, says April, but entering these doorways won't be doing exactly what he wants us to do?
Perhaps, but then again, perhaps not. There are 3 paths, just as there are 3 of you. Each of you can choose a path and follow it. When you've reached Donatello, shout. I wish to remain here to contemplate our situation. I shall be along shortly. Go with the quiet grace of a shadow.
As they enter through the door, Master Splinter sends down in a lotus position to contemplate and starts to meditate.
3 paths, yet there are 4 of us. Everything else about this situation seems so well designed by the Shredder. Can this discrepancy also be for a reason? Can there be a 4th path as well?
As he thinks and he looks up.
Ah, so there is.
As you can see, climbing up, he's got a ladder hanging down to a catwalk.
And no doubt, this too is part of the trap.
Scurrying up the wall, he climbs onto the ladder.
But sometimes the secret of success is taking the risk. And surely Donatello is worth the risk.
Around the first path with Michelangelo, we see that there's 2 of these Shredder foot soldiers that are there.
Ah, just what I was looking for. An audience to hear my new poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. With a flash of my nunchucks, I've made you robot stew.
As he smashes them, one of them tries to punch him and hits the wall, making a crack in it. Michelangelo takes out the other one with a kick to the midsection that knocks one of its heads off, and then the other one smashes the body completely after hitting it in the neck. Standing over them on the ground, you could see his robot stew.
Bogus! These are both dead ends!
Now onto Leonardo in the second door. We can see he's going by with both swords drawn. He puts one away. And then we see April at the other as they run into each other. Hi! Hi yourself! Boy, am I ever glad to see that it's you. April ran into Leonardo. The Shredder was apparently hoping that they would attack each other. Me too, but you know something? This means the paths form a loop leading into one another. What a complete drag. Donatello still suspended above. Now, on the catwalk, we see the Master Splinter is inching towards him. Then it is as I thought. The 3 paths were meaningless and hence to the maze. So that means that is the 4th path, is the trap.
Precisely, Rat.
Shredder emerges from a skylight, smashing the glass and kicking Master Splinter, knocking him nearly off the catwalk.
So, Orokosaki, you fare well given the coward's use of surprise.
Retaliating back with a kick of his own to Saki's head, Splinter looks on.
Let's see how well you fare on proper footing, says Splinter, providing you are man enough to follow,
as he goes up onto the roof through the skylight.
I am more man than you shall ever be again, Hamato Yoshi. Perhaps, but appearances can be deceiving. For you, trying to behave like a man, let alone a human, is like trying to bite your own teeth. Your attempts to provoke me to anger, and so to lose control fail, Ratman,
as he then swipes towards him with his blades.
Really? Yes, really.
As they exchange a series of hits, and now another hit from the Shredder knocks Master Splinter over the side of the wall towards Acme Traps, where he gets caught by his jacket, ironically on the mousetrap, with the Shredder hanging above, laughing.
Ha 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 ha. Cease your struggling, old fool. At long last, victory is mine. Once the fabric that holds you is cut 10 stories straight down. Sayonara.
Then a robed figure comes up behind him.
Say what? Easy there, pal. I wouldn't want you to flip out or anything.
As he knocks the Shredder off of where he was standing.
I don't know who or what you are, fool, but no one interferes with my plans. No one. Like I'm real scared, can't you tell?
The hooded figure in a red hood jumps up over the Shredder's attack.
Mock me while you can, fool. Thanks. I don't mind if I do.
Master, are you all right? Says now Donatello reunited with his brothers April, and the hooded figure fights on the Shredder.
I'm fine, my son. It is good to see you that you are well. But look at what's happening to the Shredder.
Cool! As the hooded figure blocks one of his kicks and knocks him in the side of the face, putting him unconscious on the ground. Who are you? Says April.
Who'd you expect?
Raphael!
It's good to be back.
As he takes off the red robe, we can see it's Raphael all along, now reunited. It's good to see you, bro. What about the alien invasion? Were you able to stop it?
Of course. Piece of cake.
Hey! While they were reunited, the Shredder slunk away. Hey, the Shredder, he's escaped.
So what else is new?
Well, at least we're all together again. Next, Toxic Zombie Monkey Party. And that's the end of issue 22.
It's pizza time.
And now, in a segment that we call Pizza Time, where we discuss any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or pizza-related food, I give you Pizza Time. And now, for your pizza recipe of the day, caramelized leek and potato pizza with chive cream. Makes one 13-inch pizza. Ingredients: 1 ball thin crust pizza dough, all-purpose flour for dusting, 2 leeks, white and green parts only, thinly sliced, extra virgin olive oil, kosher salt, 1 teaspoon with white balsamic vinegar, 2 tablespoons heavy cream, 2 tablespoons thinly sliced fresh chives, 1 small Yukon Gold potato, 3 to 4 ounces, sliced very thin, ideally on a mandolin. Semolina flour, rice flour, or all-purpose flour for the pizza peel. 4 ounces of Gruyere cheese, grated about 1 cup, and flaky sea salt. Start off by preparing the dough. Transfer the dough from its storage container to a roomier, light-floured, covered container. Or if you're using bought dough, just stretch it out on the pizza peel. Place the sliced leeks in a bowl of cold water and let stand for 5 minutes to allow the dirt to settle. Scoop the leeks out and transfer to a colander to drain. Place the leeks in a large skillet over medium heat. It's okay if they're wet. Stir the leeks for about a minute or until the water evaporates. Then add 1 tablespoon olive oil and a pinch of kosher salt. Cook, stirring occasionally until the leek begins to sizzle in the oil. Then immediately reduce the heat to low, cover and cook for 5 minutes, or until the leeks are browned at the edges. Uncover, stir in the vinegar, and remove the pan from heat. Transfer the leeks to a bowl to cool. Taste, and add a pinch of kosher salt if necessary. In a small bowl, using a fork or small flat-bottomed whisk, beat the cream until it thickens and forms soft peaks. Stir in the chives and a pinch of kosher salt. Line a sheet pan with parchment paper. Place the potatoes in a pile of the center of the pan. Drizzle with 1 teaspoon of olive oil and season with kosher salt. Toss to coat, and then spread the potatoes in an even layer. Transfer the pan to the oven on the top of the baking pizza peel that you're using, and cook until the edges of the potatoes are starting to show signs of browning, about 3 to 4 minutes. Watch it very closely for the 3-minute mark, and remove the pan from the oven as soon as you see any edges beginning to take on color. Preparing the peel, dust the pizza peel lightly with semolina flour on top of the parchment paper. Roll the dough. Lightly dust a work surface with the dough ball and flour. With lightly floured hands, pinch the outermost edge of the dough to flatten and depress the air from the edges. Flip the ball and repeat until pinching the edges. Using a lightly dusted rolling pin, roll the dough into a 13-inch round, flipping the dough every few strokes using the flour as needed. Transfer the stretched dough to the prepared pizza peel and give a shake to ensure it's not sticking to the parchment paper. Top the pizza. Spread the chive cream over the dough all the way to the edges. Scatter the leeks evenly over the top, followed by Gruyere, again spreading both all the way over the edges. Layer the partially baked potatoes over the top in a single layer, again spreading them all the way to the edges. Drizzle with some olive oil, seasoned with a pinch of flaky sea salt. Shimmy the pizza, still on the parchment paper if you're using it, onto the steel pizza peel until the cheese is melted and the edges are beginning to char for about 4 to 5 minutes. This may take 8 to 10 minutes depending on your oven. Using the peel, transfer the pizza to a cutting board. Discard the parchment paper, then cut and serve. This has been your pizza, caramelized leek and potato pizza with chive cream.
Cowabunga, dudes! Thank you for listening to the Epic Tales from the Sewers podcast. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. This podcast has no affiliation with Eastman, Laird, Mirage Studios, IDW Studios, Archie Comics, or Nickelodeon Studios. This podcast is a member of the Dorkening Podcast Network. Check out thedorkening.com for other podcasts. Epic Tales from the Sewers is recorded by Justin Cooper and Eric Will.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Greetings and shabebans! We are the Retro Reductibus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Yeah, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite seems trying to say is that on Retro Reductibus we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh. And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Dorkening Podcast Network, with new episodes every technical Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Octopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
It took me 10 years to make the perfect man cave.
And then we took it over. And we made it into the multiversal chamber.
Then I started my own podcast.
And we took that over too. And we're the co-hosts, the Multiverse Kids.
Yeah, and I'm the dad, the geeky dad. And every week, we what?
We review the movies, shows, and books. Games and toys.
Yeah, and sometimes we even have a special guest. So, join us every week on the Geeky Dad Podcast.
Hello, intrepid listeners. This is the Generation Playlist Podcast, a podcast about music where we are your guides through a particular group or artist.
We talk about the music, and then we make a customized playlist to share with you, our listeners. And you can check us out wherever you listen to podcasts and find our playlists on Spotify.